I've read a bit on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. There are people who sympathize with Islamists. I don't think that's like the most dangerous thing necessarily. I think what's actually more dangerous and more mainstream is this naivete about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's the well-meaning people like in the Biden administration who don't want Hamas to win or anything, but like also are uncomfortable with Israel actually winning. Don't like want to hold sort of handcuff them and not let them fight in the way that needs to fight for to achieve victory in the war. And so yeah, I mean there are like people who are sympathetic towards Islamism. They're nice to dunk on. They don't have a lot of power, but I think it becomes de facto sympathy for Islamism when you basically say, oh, they can hide behind civilians and there's nothing we can do about it. Therefore, Hamas and Hezbollah and the Iranian government, they get to stay in power forever. That creates a very unhealthy dynamic.
Are you Palestinian?
And my dad is my dad is a Palestinian and my mom is Jordanian.
That's so interesting. And I'm sure you've written about this, but I haven't read everything you've written because you do write a lot. Have you always been like sympathetic towards Israel?
Not really. I used to be more sort of just anti-war as a general matter. I mean, I was more sort of anti-interventionist American foreign policy, and I sort of blamed, like a lot of people who are anti-interventionist, blamed Israel for U.S. involvement in the Middle East, not in a conspiratorial way, but just like because the U.S. was so pro-Israel. And but over time, I mean, I just sort of understood that like like history happens like I think the October 7th and like the Russia invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It's like, yeah, there's people who will like invade and like kill their neighbors like if they can. And like I don't see any evidence that, like the Palestinians in Gaza in particular are capable of peace. I mean, I wrote an article I think called "Why Palestine Can't Deliver Peace," and the idea is like you don't know like this. The way this works is like even if like the majority of people don't support Hamas, like even if a minority does, even if there's a minority movement, if you're not going to go kill them and like kill anyone who aspires to do what they do, those people are going to control they're going to control that society. And so yeah, I mean I think Israel is a civilization worth defending. I mean I think they have they have a first world country. They have the only one with a healthy birth rate. I mean that's something that's worth preserving. And like what do the Palestinians have? Like, oh, they're just like they were treated poorly in the past. Like, okay, but like, they're the authors of their own misfortune, and there's nothing good of just letting them nurse this fantasy that they're going to destroy Israel, which could actually become a reality. I mean, if Israel behaved as people on the left want them to behave, there's nothing good about letting them, hold on to this hope forever. And so, yeah, that's the way.
Well, they're just being used, aren't they, by Iran, essentially. Iran just uses the Palestinian cause to get its way. I think it is a genuine cause, and it, historically it's its own cause, but over the last few decades, it's just been used by Iran to get its way, and then the left just falls into it without even realizing that, like idiots, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the Palestinians have been a problem. I mean, in the Middle East. I mean, I think for longer than Iran, has been under the revolutionary regime. So it's general in the region, and you just have to sort of.
Is it just Islam?
It's like I don't know, the UAE is Muslim, and they're they're doing great things. I mean, it's obviously part of it. It's the religious claim, and it's the fact that they're Jews, and the fact that it's Holy Land makes it. So such a sort of a situation that's like so emotionally charged. It's like people can have these views, these religious objections to Israel. The question is, do they have the means to act on them? I think what we've seen in the north with Hezbollah, they've really taken. I mean, they've taken apart their ability to actually threat Israel, and like there's no threat from the Sunnis in Lebanon. There's no reason necessarily there has to be a threat from the Shia in Lebanon. Syria no longer threatens Israel in any real way. So I think the path to peace Israel is take these pieces off the chessboard. And I mean, the Palestinians are harder to do just because they have this movement and like their entire focus is on wiping out Israel. Yeah, it's their political. I mean, it's the entirety of their politics sort of centers around it. And like, it's not just like you have to change Palestinian public opinion. It's like you have to get rid of these people. You have to get rid of the people, and oh, somebody will come and take their place. You have to destroy any hope that that's something like what Hamas wants to do, what their ultimate goals are.
I'm glad you're
Israel is
saying it and not me.
well, what?
I'm glad you're saying they.
Oh,
Well, it
why
has to.
can't you say it, Zoe? Or do you have
Oh
Palestinian
God.
sponsors that are going to cancel you?
No, it's pretty spicy. I mean, I've heard similar things be said in private, and obviously, 100 years ago, that would just be, and in many other cultures, that would be like obviously the
No, I mean, like,
solution.
look, in every other conflict in the world, like, it's good to get refugees out of war zones. So, like, Sudan has a civil war, and like everyone like doesn't say the Sudanese have to stay there forever, right? Like nobody should take them. But that's how people feel about the Palestinians. And so, like, I do think that, like, accepting some of the refugees, it would be better for them. It would be better for them, and it would be better for Israel, and it would be better for the world. It's just people care about that Palestinian cause, and I just don't. You could care about the Palestinian people. The Palestinian cause is not the same thing, and I think that's an idea that I think has been terrible for the world, honestly.
Wow. And your family doesn't feel strongly about it as
Oh,
Palestinian Jordanians?
my mom really sort of doesn't like Muslims, and so she's
She
actually
Christian?
yeah, she
Yeah.
sort of likes the Israelis. My dad sort of likes the Palestinians, so yeah,
Did he
they
grow up
just
Muslim?
no. My parents are both Christians.
Both Christians.
Yeah,
Okay.
but a lot of Christian Palestinians were nationalistic. They have been in the past, and some of them still are today. I mean, the Palestinian nationalism. There was a lot of Christian overrepresentation in Arab nationalism too. And yeah, no, I mean they don't. They're Americans now. They're into dumb American political stuff.
Hmm.
Political stuff.
Were they born here or born over there?
No, they were born in the Middle East.
If you're not familiar with Quillette, Quillette is an Australian-based online magazine that focuses on long-form analysis and cultural commentary. We are politically non-partisan, but rely on reason, science, and humanism as our guiding values. If you have similar values, I assure you that you're going to love Quillette. Please check out quillette.com where you can become a member. Until next time, I've been Zoe Booth. Thanks for watching.